Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a series that I did not think would take up 3 videos, but here we are. So, over the last 2 videos, we talked about notes, what they are, what they sound like, and how they're related to one another, and then rhythms, what they are and what they sound like, and how they're related to one another. So, today we're going to be putting that information together to read sheet music. We're going to be learning the treble clef, and as you can see right here, it's the treble clef. You'll recognize all of these notes as quarter notes from the rhythm section. And right here, we can introduce an important idea. If you're a math person, I personally think one of the easiest ways to think of sheet music is like a graph. You have an x-axis, time, moving to the right, and a y-axis, pitch. Pitch changes with time. And as the notes on the sheet music get higher, so do the pitch. So, as an example, a low note on the piano, such as G, will be physically lower on the sheet music than a higher note, such as this C. If we move over to this program called MuseScore, we can hear these notes go up. Let's talk about how notes are organized on the staff. So, as you can see, there are 5 horizontal lines on the staff here. Notes can either be on a line or between a line. As you can see, some notes are below the staff, but we'll come right back to that, I promise. So, each time that a note moves up a line or down a line, or up a space, down a space, that note gets 1 letter higher or lower. For instance, if we start here with E, the note above that, 1 space higher is F, then a line higher is G, then A, then B, then C. So, with that information, we know what notes are. We know how they function. And if you'd like to take another glance, right here are all of the major notes that you'll probably need to read on the treble clef. This note right here is middle C. This is the same as the key with the red dot on the piano. And the C scale branches from C, D, E, F, G, A, B to C. So C scale is from here to here. You can also see there are different ways to abbreviate the spaces and the lines. My old music teacher used to tell me never mind, that's for bass clef. I don't remember what it was, but at least with the spaces, it spells out face. To read sheet music fluently, you need to have memorized where all of the different places are on the music. Through sheet music, you can also represent ideas that we've already talked about, like intervals. For example, if I add on another measure right here, an interval of, say, a perfect fourth will look something like this. We talked about how a perfect fourth goes from C to F. There it is. Or an octave from C to C. So this is what this looks and sounds like on sheet music. In order to put all of this together, the melodies and the notes, I've written out a very famous melody, Ode to Joy by Beethoven, so that you can see it. There is one rhythm that we haven't talked about yet called a dotted quarter note. As a very brief summary, a dotted note adds half of the note's original value to it. So a quarter note is 1 beat long. That dotted quarter note is 1.5 beats. Since you have 1, then half of that 1 added to it. Weird explanation, I know, but just go with it, please. So if we play all of this together, you can see how the rhythms move to the right and the pitches move up and down. Sheet music visualizes how time and pitch pass. Finally, let's see what that looks like on piano. So, to see how sheet music works, I'm going to pull up the sheet music alongside the piano, and you'll see the keys that I play in addition to the sheet music. This right here is an F sharp. We know that because that first space over here is an F, and this hashtag symbol is a sharp, which means it's raised by half a step. So instead of playing F, we play one note above that, F sharp. When we put that together, we'll see the notes following that are G and A. Then it comes back down. All together. So, in summary, sheet music works kind of like a graph. If you move up in the staff, you go up in pitch. If you move to the right, you go forward in time. We've already spoken about measures, so you know that right now within 4/4, there are 4 beats or 4 quarter notes within each measure. That can also be 2 half notes since there are 2 beats each, or 1 whole note, or 8 eighth notes. It makes sense because they're named after the amount of time they take up. I know that's a lot of information, and reading sheet music is very challenging. The best thing that you can do is try to spend a lot of time looking at these right here, especially focusing from C to C. If you combine that and start thinking about some of the intervals within that, like C to F, C to A, whatever it may be, you'll gradually start to get better at it until you feel more comfortable reading it inside of the textbook. Now, going forward, there is a lot of information to go over. In following videos, we will talk about the different types of scales and what they can be used for. We'll talk about playing multiple notes at once to make chords. We'll talk about more complex rhythms. We'll talk about more information into intervals and how they can be used to write a melody. There is a lot ahead of us, but I hope that these 3 videos have helped make you feel more comfortable with what we're talking about in the textbook. Please leave anything that you want to say in the comments, and I will respond to you